Bob Marley, One Love review, guys. Get right to
you have to sing these songs?
What's going on, Alamo City Movie Talk fans? As always, I am your host, Ryan D, aka Ryan680.
I'm Angela, that cat lady Ange.
And this is Alamo City Movie Talk, guys. Thank you so much for making us a part of your day. It's freezing here in San Antonio. We've had just a crazy weather this week, guys.
Yes.
It's been crazy here in Texas. We'll leave it at that. But we just got done watching Madame Web a few days ago, right? And yeah, that movie was not good whatsoever. But we sometimes in the world of movies and everything, January, February is usually like the films where like do not really do great or not expected to do great, right? Mm-hmm. I'll leave it at that. They're usually like the films where the sucky movies come out. Sometimes, usually, most parts. But I gotta admit, there's somehow, some way, sometimes there's this one hidden gem of a movie that comes out to be just a way better than what I expected kind of film. And we're going to talk about this because I saw it on Rotten Tomatoes, and Angela will bring it up later in this review, is that the Rotten Tomatoes score is 30-something%, which wow. I do not know why it is. But we'll talk about that later on this review, guys. But let's get right to it. Angela, what did you think of this Bob Marley? We're talking about Bob Marley One Love review. What did you think of this film? The journey, behind his music, the music that united everybody, that's brought everyone together,
his
all races, of the reggae music as well. It just I love that. What did you think of this?
So I walked away. I appreciated that the film had a different structure than what we're used to. Yeah. So I know a lot of the biopics, it starts, like you said, I think we talked about it off camera, from the beginning, beginning when he's young. Yeah. That's how it usually starts. And it didn't start that way, which I like. We still get glimpses into his upbringing when he was a small child, when he was like a little bit older, still a youth, and then now until like present day. Yeah. So I really liked that it was structured a lot differently than what we're used to.
Yes, that was great. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah,
a lot
it does.
Well.
Hop back and forth between the present day and his past, which helps explain. I think the flow of the film was done very nicely. And it was really cool to see the creation of his music and the message he was bringing and everything. So I really liked it. I think it was very well done, honestly. And I don't agree with that score. And I agree with you. I don't know why it's scored that way. Yeah. I haven't personally read the comments or the feedback. But I walked away from this pretty pleasantly surprised. I think it was a pretty well done movie. I loved the actor and actress, the main leads. Yeah, Kingsley. Yeah. So in Lashana. So I think they both did so great. I mean, they're very familiar faces in Hollywood. But I really liked him as Bob Marley. I think he did such a really good job.
I go back to where I just said, there's very hidden gems of a movie this succeeded way more than my expectations. This movie, Bob Marley One Love, it's acted by a phenomenal actor who really embodied Bob Marley, Kingsley Ben-Adir. I gotta admit to him, he is fantastic in this role. I enjoyed his iconic moments that he gave out, especially the same quotes that Bob Marley did. It revolutionized everything. It's almost as great, if not equal. I think it's equal to what Joaquin Phoenix did as in Walk the Line as Johnny Cash. There's these moments in here where like he just embodies that character a lot, this actual person. And I'm a sucker. I gotta admit, guys, I don't know about you moviegoers out there. I am a huge sucker of biopics. I love biopics. Doesn't matter what kind of movie it is. If it's a biopic, I'm 110% on board. I'm curious. I want to know more about this person, about this, but even more so when it's someone that I do recognize or do know from the history books, whatever the case may be, is that you have heard of that person. It doesn't matter. But the point is that you actually go back to where like the history behind it, maybe something you didn't know. And in this case, there's a few things that I didn't know that actually occurred to Bob Marley. A few things that
I didn't know he toured in Europe. I thought that was really cool. Yeah. I love biopics because we see glimpses. Yeah. Granted, it's not the whole story. I know there's stuff that they can't show or admit it, and it's too much to pack into a 2-hour movie. But it's really cool to see, like you say, you learn things that you just didn't know before. At least for me, as like an average moviegoer, I'm not super into history, so I didn't know a lot about this artist. You're not. And I really, he is really a symbol for like peace and justice and everything. He really is Jamaica's biggest star. So I really, really appreciate that. we got to see that. And also, I think there was a really cool message from Ziggy Marley at the very beginning. I think he was a producer on this movie.
And he double checked and made sure everything was accurate to the point of Bob Marley.
The family is proud to, be a part of this movie, and it's actually pretty accurate. So I really appreciate that. I think it was really cool that they got family members to be part of this and really make it accurate for the audience to see. So I really think that extra thought, that extra mile to make it right was done pretty well. Yeah,
and I gotta admit as well, the posters and everything. The posters are so colorful. They're so influence and in so many ways it's embodied of Bob Marley, and I love that a lot. I love that when actors really go into the role. And I gotta admit, the accent too, oh my god, the accent was just spot on. I love there's so many moments where like, oh my god, he is Bob Marley. Same thing with, is equal to what Joaquin Phoenix did as Johnny Cash. I love biopics. I love it when they embody those characters and those people and everything. And this was fantastic. It was spectacular. I enjoyed this movie so much more than I did. Way better than Madam Web. I could tell you that, guys. I gotta admit though, going into the movie, there wasn't a huge crowd turnout. And I don't know why. I feel like this movie's not gonna do it's going to do better than Madame Web. I think it will. But even more so, I feel like that the marketing, I saw a lot of it, right? But I didn't see a lot of it opening weekend. I got to admit, I feel like it got cut down a little bit. Paramount Pictures and everything, they did this film, but I feel like they kind of cut down on the marketing opening weekend, which is crazy to me because I saw a lot of it before, like a month before and everything.
So it was not to say it wasn't.
But I didn't even know it was coming out this weekend.
Right?
I
I saw marketing a couple months before, but you're right. Like I haven't seen anything recently about this film, which is a shame because it's actually a pretty good film. It's a pretty solid film. I think I agree with you again. I don't agree with that Rotten Tomatoes score. But to each his own. I'm sure again I'll read the feedback and everything, but it is maybe you had a different theory or maybe you had a different opinion on how it was well done, or if you didn't like it, you let us know. I mean, I walked away from the theater pretty pleased. I think it was a really good film, solid film overall. So let us know what y'all think.
So as of right now, ladies and gentlemen, because I did want to say I am going to mention this because I do mention this every time and time again when it comes down to the Rotten Tomatoes score. Do I agree with some of the Rotten Tomatoes score?
No.
Sometimes I do. I got to admit, sometimes I do. I understand why though. You got to admit, I understand why. I'm not officially Rotten Tomatoes yet. I'm in the process of it coming next month. So fingers crossed and everything. But if anyone does not know, there is no official Rotten Tomatoes critics. There's not. That's not the way Rotten Tomatoes works. The way Rotten Tomatoes works is that it works to where it gets a group of so many reviewers, critic reviews, YouTube's, doesn't matter. It's all of it. And they create this metric of average critics rating, and they put that into the pot here, and they create this score. Same thing with the audience goers. Same thing with that as well. They do the same thing with that, with the users, Rotten Tomatoes users. And so as of right now, let's talk about this. As of right now, it's 141 reviewers, critics, that officially reviewed this film, and it's at 43%. So it went up. So it's 43%. It's officially rotten still.
Still don't agree with
And the audience score, over 1,000 verified ratings.
Okay.
94%.
See, I think I agree with you. Like I agree. There's certain scores for critics that I don't agree with. I think the one that comes to mind, and I'm gonna get flack for it. I'm gonna get so much flack for it. Is The Lighthouse?
Oh man! Angela, stop mentioning The Lighthouse.
Okay, then stop mentioning Hobbs and Shaw. So I do not agree with either score, and again, I did not like the film, but again, to each his own.
We talk about this nonstop.
We talk about this nonstop. Like you talk about Hobbs and Shaw in every single review of a bad movie.
Oh, how terrible it is! But what? Lighthouse is not terrible. Okay, so to put into perspective, it has 399 reviews. It's 90% critic score, audience score 72% with over 1,000 reviews. So. It's still not rotten.
This is a better movie than that, even though the scores are a little bit better.
Okay, we're not comparing because this was an actual person biopic versus a made up Lighthouse story. But yes, I get what you're saying. But at the same time, though, you kind of get stuck in the realm of does this really influence moviegoers, and I gotta be honest though, it does. I think it does. Just like with IMDb, they use Metacritic. I think that influences people. I feel like in a way, like if I'm an average, again, this is me before I was reviewing, before we did this, Angela, we would always look up Rotten Tomatoes. We did. I'm actually a Rotten Tomatoes user as well. I don't use it that much. I use Letterboxd more. But before, when we actually started doing this movie talk thing, we would remember we used to look it up. We used to look it up, be like, okay, let's see what Rotten Tomatoes thinks of this movie, and it influences people. It does.
I will say this is a film that's very influential because I think, I mean, obviously he's a global icon, Bob Marley, known around the world,
of course.
Even to this day, right? It's been several years, decades. He's still such an influential icon. So I think this is just going to revitalize, revamp, re-spark that interest in his movement and what he stood for and his message. So that's always a win in my book.
Yeah, no, definitely. And it goes back to where like the message he was giving. A lot of this stuff was influenced by the Bible. And I love that. I'm for that. And I feel like that, I feel that there's not enough for it. Per se, because I kind of wish they would have gone a little bit longer. This film's runtime is actually only an hour and 44 minutes. It flew by like that. It really did. But that's how good of a movie structured it was. Some people actually did not like the structure of it, though. I saw a few reviews that did not like it. The structure of it
is different. It's different. Yeah. So it's not the typical like start when they're really young and then they're now older and then now it's present day, how it usually is. It is different. So I will say I appreciated that it was different. It may not be for everybody. So again, take it as you will. But overall, I stand by the cast. I stand by the message. I really like that. Real life family members were part of this film in making this film. So I gotta say it was a win for me. Yeah, no, same here. I enjoyed this movie so much. There's a lot of moments in here where you really get sucked into that same beautiful music that he really gave and the message he gave out of that. And I love that. I love that people are going to go back and rewatch it or re-listen to the music. And even more so, there's a lot of documentaries about it too. So a lot of stuff that I did not know about again, but usually when we see biopics, we like to go back to the basics here and watch a lot of documentaries about that person that came out even years ago. But that's the point of biopics is you want to learn more about this person, this historical figure, or even an event. That's the purpose of it. It succeeded. Yes, it did. 110%, guys. But was this the fun that we deserve? Say yes. Rating 1 out of 10. Tell me the highest when you give this rating, Angela. I really liked it. I had some problems with it. Like I said, the time frame. I wish it was a little bit longer. Certain moments kind of like a little slow, just a little bit. But again, it's a movie about music. It's not going to have a lot of action. So I would say overall, I think the cast did really great. I think the flow was mostly good, and I would say it's a good solid 7.5 for me. Okay, all right, that's me. I like that. I like that review. There's a lot of spectacular moments in here that I really did enjoy. I enjoyed the direction they were going in. I liked how it was different. I mean, it's either gonna work or it's not for some moviegoers. And that's the thing too. With me, when they make risks like this, because this was a risk. The way they structured it was a risk. I'm on board for it. Whether it's going to work or not, I support that risk because that's the beauty of art. You have to take that risk. You can't just do the same. I like how maybe in their own way, they were like, you know what, let's not do a regular biopic. Let's try something different because this is Bob Marley. This is Jamaica's greatest achievement, star, celebrity. Born and raised in Jamaica. And so like they want this to happen. They want this spectacular to be amazing, and they want it to influence. Even today though, I still hear Bob Marley nonstop. I still hear the music. We still hear the music influences us. It still unites us together. It doesn't matter the color of your skin, doesn't matter what background you have. It still unites us. It still brings us together. And I love that. I love it because his music is so fantastic. I've always enjoyed his music. Now do I listen to it on a daily basis? No, I don't. But it's recognizable, and you enjoy it. I still encourage it. I'm not gonna shut it off. If I hear it in the music or I hear it in a movie, it still gets. It creates that tone. How do you not sing along to "Don't Worry" whenever it pops on? Don't worry. I mean, that's just so catchy and it's so uplifting. And I know he has tons of other hits. But it's just about his music, and I really liked that we saw a lot of his repertoire, his discography. So again, kudos to the family for participating. And then the cast again.
Yeah,
great.
Because of Kingsley, I'm gonna give this a solid 8 because he influenced so much acting in here, so much superb acting that was really great. And I hope he gets more roles. I'm excited to see what more he can do. Of course, as of right now, because I'm a huge James Gunn fan, because I'm a huge DC fan, I'm recommending all the A-list actors go to DC, go make a DC movie, go check out, go hit up a meeting with James Gunn because I
still can't believe
I'll be excited to see him play that role, play a DC character.
I still can't believe it's just he played Ken.
Yeah,
it's the same actor.
One of the Kens. Oh my God,
he
yes,
was great. I love him. But again, I really want to see him, and I want to see Lashana in more roles. I know she was in, I think, the Captain Marvel.
Yes,
and so I loved her in that. I loved her in even the Marvels, the small role she had, reprising her role. So I will say I hope great things, good projects for both of them. The rest of the cast was spectacular. So I agree with your score. I think that's
this is a way better movie than what Rotten Tomatoes is giving it.
Yes.
But again, though, that's just our take here. Take it with a grain of salt if you like. Go check out this movie if you are. Question is for you guys: did you enjoy this film? Because there hasn't been too many good films this past few weeks. Do not check out. I hate to say this, and that's the thing too, is that like every movie I go into, I always go into where like I want to be that one person that freaking loves this movie and everyone hates. I want to be that person. I do. And I thought I was going to be with Madame Web, and Madame Web, I just couldn't. I just, oh my God, he was just whatever. But the point is that it looks like the Rotten Tomatoes critics are not liking this movie for whatever reason, guys. You guys are crazy. This is a good, solid film. I can name you a dozen movies that you rate up a little bit higher than what I rate. But again, that's just my take there of the average critics there. But
everyone's different.
I'll leave it at that. Yeah. I'll leave it at that, guys. What did you think of this movie? Bob Marley, One Love. What did you think of this film? Did you enjoy it? Did you hate it? Put in comments down below because we love talking movies with you guys. And thank you so much for making us a part of your day. As always, I'm your host, Ryan D. Ryan 680.
I'm Angela at that Cody
And this is Alamo City Movie Talk, guys. Thank you so much for making us part of your day. Do not forget, give us a thumbs up on this review. And thank you so much, guys. And be sure to subscribe. Catch you later. See you at the theaters.